Child labor. Child labor was not created by the Industrial Revolution. Children had always worked on farms or around the house. Most children had family responsibilities. On farms, children collected wood or water, chopped firewood, looked after the chickens and other animals, helped with the garden or on the fields. They also did housework and took care of the younger siblings. In the city setting, children could make money by running simple errands, selling newspapers, shining shoes, or doing odd jobs. Any money that a child earned was not used for luxury items or purchasing personal items, such as going to the movies, purchasing an iPod, or maybe even a new pair of shoes. All money that a child earned was usually handed over to their parents as part of the family's income. Some families needed more money than a child could earn doing odd jobs. While a small family might be able to live on one wage, as a family grew, it needed more money. Many families had to send children out to work in factories. Children worked alongside adults doing much the same work as they did. Employers liked to hire children because they could pay children less money. It was common for children to be beaten and mistreated at their jobs. School cost money, so few working-class children got an education. Until the 1890s, few people even thought a formal education was necessary. People learned whatever they needed to know from their families or even on the job. Just as women started to fight for their rights, women also started to realize the need for children's rights. People began to think about children and the fact that a formal education would be important to them during the Industrial Revolution and within the industrial world. The Truancy Act of 1891 changed people's attitude towards child labor. However, the Truancy Act also caused many problems. A lot of families depended on that child's wage a week could mean the difference between having a full tummy and an empty one. Another reason that the Truancy Act was put into place was a concern regarding crime. Many people at the time believed that if a young person was not employed or in school, they would turn to a life of crime. The government conducted studies which showed that people committed crimes because they were not properly cared for at home. The government began to believe it had a duty to protect these children. It took several steps to keep children off the street. It created industrial day schools where boys could learn a trade. It also established curfews to ensure that children could not roam the streets at night. The Child Protection Act was passed in 1893. The Children's Aid Society was then created and given the authority to take children away from their families if they were neglected or mistreated at times. By the 1920s, a child had become someone to protect. With more household appliances, the woman in the household was supposed to have more and their upbringing. This may have been true for middle-class and upper-class households. For working-class families, however, children were working members and had adult responsibilities. In middle-class families, children rarely avoided work in some form or another. Living in a household with no electricity or indoor water supply meant there was lots of work for every single member of the family.